Welcome to Every Way Woman. I'm Jezlan, and this is the show where, well, we have different opinions, but always great conversation. Ladies, welcome. So we're celebrating Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I just read a really interesting article about a 29-year-old woman who had a preemptive double mastectomy. Let's have an open dialogue about this.
Well, she's a very brave woman to begin with.
Extremely.
29 years old, to do something like that is extremely brave.
Yeah, and the reason why she didn't want the reconstructive surgery, she said, is because she wouldn't be able to pick up her daughter or her child, because you weren't supposed to pick up more than a gallon of milk for a number of months. So she wanted to be able to spend that time with her child. So yeah, I think she's very brave, and I think it's really amazing that she was able to not have reconstructive surgery.
I found her story to be interesting because from a young age, she was dealing with this. You often think of it as a mature age person's disease, but from a young age, from the 6th grade, her mother had breast cancer, her aunt died from breast cancer, and her mother had the gene. So she knew from a young girl that this was something that was going to plague her. And I really applaud her for taking those steps.
You know, and I think the thing is, she was saying that, you know, she had never really, she did have bigger breasts before, but she always felt like, you know, as a runner, she would have to wear double sports bras, and always found that of a challenge. But then, you know, for her to be able to disconnect herself, not disconnect, but just to be able to own herself and say, you know, my breasts don't make me a woman. You know, the fact that I have a husband who loves me, who didn't care that if I don't have breasts or not. I have a child that I want to love and care for. That meant more to me than my breasts. I wonder how many of you, how many of us could have made that decision?
I was going to say, because I think that's easier said than done.
Absolutely.
Because, you know, as a society, women, we're kind of known by our breasts. You know, women have big tatas, you know, and men like, hi, right? But I think that that's easier said than done because, and then she just got married too, right? But she said her husband said, I'm so okay with that. And I think the support system was key.
I think it's important that she said it was the smartest decision she ever made. And I think for her husband to back that up was extremely important too. When you have the support of a family as well as your doctors and everybody comes together, I think that's really crucial.
Well, I'm wondering how many women are making these decisions based out of fear, though, to have these preemptive surgeries just because they're scared they're going to get cancer.
Your chance doubles if you have a sister, a mother, or a child with breast cancer.
Almost 80%. So that's quite a bit.
And there were like, I think there were 40,000 women who died in 2011. So, you know, it's a big killer of women. And so you want to be careful, and you want to be checked, and you want to make sure, especially if it runs in your family.
That her mother carried the gene. See, that's, I think she had a step above it. It was a known fact that her mother carried the gene. So, you know, she was tested. So, I mean, yes.
And it's when it's in the family like that, I think you really have to stay aware of what's going on and do a self-exam. Be very, you know, vigilant about your own health care.
Now, when you say in the family, is it in any of your families?
No. I mean, I had, you know, my adoptive family, my mom's sister did have a mastectomy when she was, you know, at some point in her life. But in my birth family, I don't have it, and I don't know anyone actually, which is amazing because I think it affects a very 1 out of 8 women, or it's a very high.
It's a very high percentage.
Well, my mother did have breast cancer, and it was right before, you know, I was getting married that she was diagnosed. But the thing is, I know I'm complacent about it too because I feel like, oh well, it was because of hormone replacement therapy. That's probably why she got it. So maybe I don't need to worry about it. So, you know, I appreciate these kind of conversations because it does make me realize, like, I need to be much more, you know, active in my health care. And, you know, maybe I don't need to do anything preemptively like, you know, this brave woman did, but I do need to make sure I'm checking myself out, which, you know, I haven't been so far, so I appreciate that.
I appreciate what Sehnita says because sometimes we make the decision, or we say, because I don't have health insurance. But I would encourage anyone out there, even if you don't have health insurance, there are mechanisms that you can go. You can go to American Cancer Society, the Susan G. Komen Foundation, the National Cancer Institute. Don't make an excuse because you don't have insurance not to be aware. It is a disease that you have to be aware
about.
They
will do them for free.
Absolutely.
And I know in the Valley, at Northridge Hospital, you can get free mammograms.
And you can do them yourself at home.
Yes,
you know, self-breast exams.
You have to be the first and foremost one that has to go and seek help. Don't wait. It's really important that you really get yourself out there.
But Sandra, how do you educate? Because I'm in a group of women, and we had 70-year-old women who have never had a mammogram. And they said it was because of lack of education. So we can say you have to, but what's the education piece?
Well, you know, it's interesting you say that because now there's an education program in the high schools, and they use a thing called the Betsy breast. It's really, really important.
We'll touch more on that after the break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.